Hey everyone. I think that I'm live now. Yes, I appear to be live. Hi. Clearly I'm running behind. So I'm just going to go ahead and get this poured. I don't even know if the sound of my voice is traveling through that microphone. I should really come up with a way to, what do you call it? Monitor my audio. By the way, everybody sound off if you can see me, because again, I'm confused as to whether or not I even have anything going on here. There we go. Okay, good. Hey, Brandy. Thank you. Hey, Brandy Woods. So, how's everybody doing? How's everybody's week been? Mine's been hot. Damned hot. So why am I making hot coffee? I don't know. I didn't think that through. But I'm here. It's been miserable in this house. Fortunately, I have some friends who've been putting me up in their basement. They have a kind of a nice little area down there. It's basically an apartment all to myself. I've got my own bathroom. I've got one of those cool showers that comes right down from the top. Not that I clearly I didn't use it today. Yeah, by the way, the hair drying thing ends today. I'm just didn't have time. I'm tired. I didn't sleep well last night. I had a project I had to work on until late last night, and because it was on deadline, as it turns out. It was like one of those projects where it was like, yeah, man, take your time. Take your time on that. And then as I was taking my time, somebody chimed in and said, hey, where is that? Give me 6 hours. So I was here until like 9 o'clock last night, working in a puddle of my own sweat. It really wasn't that bad. I'm being melodramatic. Dobby didn't like it, so I had to take him back. Oh, yeah. Let's see. Let's start off. Let's see. I see somebody, TK421 mentions nice ghost t-shirt. Yeah, that's right, man. This is the one that I got for free for ordering the super uber deluxe version of the most recent record. Yeah, which is something that I like to do. I love having those super awesome big box sets of Ghosts records. I think I've got 3. Did they make one for Meliora? I'm not sure, so maybe it's just 2. Maybe it's just Prikel and... I have to cheat and look at the name of this one. Impera. Yeah, Impera. Alright, well, welcome everyone to my AC-free nightmare. I've got who's in the chats today. I got Tommy D. Hello, Tommy. Scott Heinemeyer's here. He's saying hey to Brandy, who's also here. John Galgano is here, and TK421 Collectibles. And... Mr. Megan. Pierre is here as well. Hello. Wow, so we've got people from Israel here. Pierre, where are you located? Are you in Canada? I feel like you're in Canada, but maybe not. Yeah, so sound off. Let me know. If I don't know where you're from, just let me know. Oh, God, I forgot to stir my coffee, so it's going to be even worse than it usually is. Today's roast is going to be... Mississippi Mud's medium roast, from Colombia and Brazil. I can tell you very, very clearly that this coffee is appropriately named. It very much tastes like mud, but it's also the only thing I have in the house. That didn't quite make it. So I'll have to make do with what I've got. Yeah. What's that Dick Cheney said? You go to war with the army you're given, not the one you wish you had. Good old Dick. What a dick. Let's see. And I've got my... I was going to go live with this guy on my shoulder again. But I'm not even sure that he would stay there. I broke this out for the live stream on Tuesday and for Sideshow. And immediately broke the head when I was playing with it. Just got a little too rough with old Venomized Groot here. And just snapped his head right off. But I think he's fixed. I think a little bit of super glue. Yeah, it seems like it's doing okay. Doesn't seem to want to come off. So I can start playing with that again, mess with the tendrils, and get him back on the shelf. He's a cool little guy. I think he's going to go on... yeah. Get yourself one. Free shipping. All that good stuff. Right. But I didn't come here to talk about work. Right, Scott? Yeah. Anyway. So today I'm going to talk about air conditioning. And how to stay cool when you don't have any. First off, I just want to go ahead and say the number one way to stay cool when you don't have air conditioning is to have great friends. Not only did my friends Ann and Eric put me up in their place for the past week or so, and for the next 5 days, 4 days. How far away is Wednesday? You guys tell me. And yeah, so have good friends. So the other good friend that's been keeping me going through this is my buddy who's in the chats. Hello, Scott. Scott Heinemeyer showed up with 3 fans. Yeah, because I had no fans in the house. Was it 3, Scott? Actually, the total is 4 because you brought me one before. So Scott Heinemeyer has donated 4 fans to me. That's fandom for you right there. So yeah, I've got one blowing in the background. Let me know if it's too loud. Let me know if it's not too loud because I might want to crank it up. This big one that he brought, seriously, it just sounds like a propeller airplane, man. It's freaking awesome. I happen to think so because I like airplanes, but I think the coffee is done brewing. So let's go ahead and get that started. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, bad coffee. Don't care. Do not care. Even when coffee's bad, it's still good. At the very least, it's still your friend. John Galgano doesn't even hear it. Awesome. Without knocking anything over, I'll just leave it going. If it gets a little too hot, then I'll take time out and go over there. So yes, again, for everybody who's just now joining. Oh, hello. Las Figuras. I don't know how to pronounce your last name, Mr. Litor. Hello from Spain, he says. So great. We have Spain in the house. John Deek is here from the is it the Sunshine State? No, it's not the Sunshine State. That's Florida. You're in California. The Sunshine. No, it's not the Sunshine State. The Golden State. That's it. Hello, John. Welcome. John, you asked a question last week, and I didn't notice it until I reviewed the chats later, and I saw that you asked a question that I failed to answer. I've completely forgotten what that question was. If it comes to your mind, then feel free to ask it again. I'll try to pay attention. And I just want to go on record as saying that yeah, I've said it before. When I'm doing this, even when I'm at my best, when I'm on point, when I've had coffee or tea or whatever, I frequently miss questions or comments in the chats, and for that I apologize. I try to actually say things to people, but let me just go ahead and review what this chat is all about. Typically, this would be something in which I had washed my hair, and we used my hair drying as a timer. And when my hair's dry, the chat ends. I didn't have time to do that today, so I just jumped right in. This is bedhead, so to speak. Probably doesn't matter anyway, because as it turns out, I'm going for a bike ride tonight. And that's by tonight, I do mean tonight. At midnight tonight, St. Louis is hosting the annual Moonlight Ramble. Full moon is tonight in St. Louis, I believe. And everybody's meeting downtown or someplace close to downtown. I'm not even really clear on that at this point. Where we're all going to go for a 16-mile bike ride throughout the streets of St. Louis in the middle of the night. Thousands of people will be there. Legitimately, thousands of people are going to be there. It's going to be an absolute mess. There's going to be a lot of places to stop and get drinks, and by drinks I do mean beer. And so that's going to be fun. Really can't look forward to that. I really can't look forward to that enough. I've been looking forward to doing it actually since the 1990s when I used to watch those maniacs cruise by my valet parking lot in downtown when I was working at Maggie O'Brien's. By the way, new coffee mug. Again. Look at this. Isn't this badass? This is badass. I'm seriously. I'm not even going to ask if it's badass. I know it's badass. This is again by the uber talented Nule, who you guys will probably know as Judo Master and Peacemaker. That's right. Judo Master is a potter, and he's a damned fine one. Go check out his Etsy channel at 3 Circle Pottery. That's the number 3 Circle Pottery, all one word. He's got a lot of cool shit. In fact, I think I might go back and buy the sister to this mug if it's still there, if one of you maniacs doesn't go pick it up. Let's see. John Deek says crank it up. Oh, you meant the fan. I thought you meant like the metal. I'll do both. Anyway, let's see here. Yes, everybody's telling me to rev up the fan. Thanks, guys. Thanks for caring. I really appreciate it. Scott is asking if that's the naked one. By the naked one, Scott, do you mean the one you just bought, the one you said you had to have back? Because that's the one. I'm in love with that one. That thing will just... It legit, when I pick it up off the ground, it blows so strong that it pushes itself back. Like, I can't hold it perpendicular to the ground. The fan blows so strong that it's like at an angle as you carry it. It's amazing, amazing. And for what did you say it was? 45, 50 bucks? Everybody needs this fan in their life. I swear to God, even if you live in Alaska, because it's getting hot there too. Let's see. Yeah. Thank you, Roy. Tommy D, put container of ice cubes behind the fan. You get nice, cool breezes. I've done even better. Scott got me these cool fans that you put ice into. That's right. You put ice and ice water into them, and you freeze this little filter in the front, and it blows nice, cool air directly onto your face. So that kind of got me through a couple of long work days here in the heat. It was $25. Shut up. Okay. John Deek, I only ride my bike at night. Well, it gets hot. I get that. I leave at 3 a.m. from Calabasas to Reseda and home by 4:30. That's a good ride. That's a good ride. You're in Calabasas? Okay. Wow, we were practically neighbors at one point. If I did that during the day, I'd probably get plowed on Ventura Boulevard. Dude, I'm testimony to that, man. That place is rough. I used to cycle a lot in California. I used to average between 175 and 200 miles a week through the mountains. So that was those were my fit days. I would love to get back to those. Tommy D likes the mug. Scott Heinemer, the bike race, I mean. Oh. Let me go back. Oh, yeah. No, it's not the naked bike ride, dude. The naked bike ride in St. Louis was at least a week, possibly 2 weeks ago. I had some friends that participated in that, though. Eric, my friend, who's been putting me up for the week, actually rode in that. He wore a Speedo. So proud of that boy. Nice job. Tommy D also says this is sweet. Anyway. So, yeah, we were talking about staying cool in a house with no air conditioning. I just can't get enough of this mug. 12 freaking ounces of coffee I can put in this thing. On the subject of staying cool, I got a new cooler. You might have seen in the thumbnail. But check this out. Yeah, let's see if I can... Yeah, there we go. From Igloo, man. Igloo's doing Iron Maiden themed Playmates. Now tell me that's not freaking rad. Jet black, which I question the wisdom of. But seriously, it is a little mini Playmate, holds a 6-pack. Not that I know yet. All black on the inside, just all black all the time. They also have them, and it's going to be very hard for me not to collect them all. They also have one for the Trooper, I think. They have Number of the Beast, and they have Seventh Son of the Seventh Son, which is one that I'm very, very tempted to get. Oh, Single Songwriters here. Hey, dude, it's good to see you. Yeah, outside of work, so to speak. See, I almost missed your comment, Single Songwriter. Did you ever have an Anne Hesh encounter at the store in Cali? I did not. I never had the pleasure of meeting Anne Hesh. I'm very sorry that I didn't. Hashtag Eddie Igloo. That's right. Yeah, it's really a shame about her, right? I mean, I didn't see her in a lot, and I think the one thing that I saw her in the most, it was 6 Days, 7 Nights with Harrison Ford, and that's mainly because it was Harrison Ford. And, you know, what red-blooded American nerd doesn't have some sort of a crush on Harrison Ford? Seriously. Yeah, lovely woman. Seem to have been a lovely woman, and I'm really, really sad that had to happen to her. That seems really, really horrible. It's probably why I've been imagining crashing into houses, crashing my car into houses lately. Not like I'm wishing, not like longing for it, but just like, just cringing at the idea of it. Absolute Irwin is here. Sup, everyone? That's a sick cooler, Terry. It really is, bro. It really is. If you could see this house, guys, it's just an absolute mess. One thing that happens when you don't have AC is you lose your desire to do any sort of housework or any work at all. It's just too hot. You can't move. She's at the hospital about 2 blocks from my house at the West Hills Hospital. I understand that she actually did die, John, but maybe I saw one of those premature announcements. But oh, she was in a movie with Ashton Kutcher? That's interesting. That's interesting. Huh. Oh. So tired. Oh, I also picked up this. I'm not sure if I showed that off to you, but Scotty was with me when I got that. So this is, I've had this for a little while now. It's the third offering in the Hasbro G.I. Joe Classified series. And the reason I picked it up is because I bought the... I'm just going to leave that up there so we can like look at the back because it's really cool. The reason I picked it up is because I backed the HasLab Razor Crest. Sorry. Of course I backed the HasLab Razor Crest. It's right over there. I backed the HasLab His Tank. For $300 for all those different extras that you get with it, I felt like it was really, really worth it. That being said, given the cost of an air conditioner in this house, I've canceled my reservation for that, or my backing. I'm so new to backing things that I'm not even sure what the terminology is. But it's a cool little figure, I guess. I've seen better. The paint apps on it are just kind of Yeah, it's like there's a single layer of paint on that chest of his. There's like no details, no washing at all that I can see. The same goes for like the little, like the gun, like the rockets on his wrist, like the holster and the pouches. It's just all monotonal, just flat red. No layers, no depth to it. So I've been resisting the G.I. Joe Classified series for years since it came out, and it looked like the His Tank was going to push me over the edge. Now it's not quite looking that way. So Desmond backed it too. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. You big nerd. Good job. Let's see. I'm going to back up a little bit. It's the weekend as MS is expected. Very, very true single songwriter. Thank you. TK421 Collectibles. Yeah, 32 degrees here in the UK, and I'm putting up shelves. Ew. Yeah, keep in mind, everyone, that TK421 uses Celsius, and 32 degrees is not cold. I'd say about half of my people are actually international from the perspective of an American like myself. So most of you are going to be using the proper method of measuring temperature. My country has yet to catch up to that. It's so weird that you can politicize something like an international standard for measurements in general. I mean, I don't care if it's the metric system or what. I really wish we'd go to that, though. It's just so ridiculous and kind of embarrassing. Single songwriter, are there any 1/6 versions? Do you mean of the G.I. Joes? If so, yes, but not from Hasbro. It appears that is it 3-0 that's doing I think 3-0 has a G.I. Joe line now. They are really just dominating. Not really dominating. Hot Toys will always do that. But 3-0's really come out of the woodwork and really brought some cool stuff between the G.I. Joe line. Yeah. Between the G.I. Joe line, they're also they've also got I don't have one here. That's right. I took him down. Megatron. They do Transformers figures, and there's really no rhyme or reason to the Transformers releases. I can't. There's no cohesive line that they have going there. They're just kind of all over the place, which is kind of fun. I guess they're trying to appeal to like different audiences and whatnot. For me, I'm not a classic Transformers fan. I do prefer the newer stuff, not necessarily the Bayformers Transformers, but I do like the Bumblebee movie, and I do have a couple of let's see. Just my wheel just ran into something. Hope it wasn't something valuable. Like here's this is Optimus Prime. Now I know it looks like he's doing some kind of funky dance, but that's not what he's doing. He's actually playing a video game. I've got him up there playing Asteroids. He's kind of a placeholder until I can get myself a Han Solo and Chewbacca set, which are just really expensive right now. But I really want to have Han Solo playing Asteroids with Chewbacca, like cheering him on. But until that time comes, then that will have to do. I also have Bumblebee way back there in the corner, and Megatron is in my living room. But I kept knocking him over, and it was causing Super Producer Sam on the show a lot of stress. But I didn't come here to talk about work. Let's see. I'm gonna get back to some questions. I don't want this to get too far away from me. Desmond confirms that 3-0 does the G.I. Joes. They're really cool. I haven't seen one in hand, but yeah, they're really cool. John Deeg, what was the general sense you got from people's vibe at Comic-Con this year? I didn't go because I was too scared of COVID. You know, John, Con was quiet. It was really quiet. Do you know how on the floor it would just be like this morass of people just kind of like moving in unison, like a bunch of penguins in that documentary that they did a few years back? That was what Comic-Con used to feel like for me. These days, I can move freely at any point in any given day. So I feel like attendance was really, really down. Or maybe they just didn't sell as many tickets because they wanted to keep allow for at least some opportunity to social distancing. I don't know. If I hadn't gotten paid to go, I definitely would not have gone. And having said that, I did suck it up and stay on the floor as long as humanly possible to help the team. But the vibe I got was, I don't know, everybody was pretty well masked up. You did have some losers who just thought they were being cool. And you could tell it because they were traveling in packs, man. It was really weird. And they were just, and a lot of them were like bros. Like, you know, like jacked up. You could tell they visit the gym a lot, and they're just like walking around like, yeah, say something. Like, seriously. Guys like that at a geek convention just seems like anathema to me. Seriously. I mean, having grown up around guys like that when I was a young geek just didn't really work for me. John Galgano says 3-0's Transformers are amazing. Yes, they really, really are. I have 1, 2, 3, 5, like 6 or 7 of them, plus the big Bumblebee. And every single one of them is on point. So and I never collected the original toys. I never collected the original Hasbro toys. I never watched the animated series. I was never really into it. I did like the comic book, though. The Marvel comic book was great. And then the Bayformers thing came along, and that worked for me. I tried to go back and rewatch it the other day, and by that I mean like 6 months ago. The older you get, the more 6 months ago feels like the other day. Just for those of you out there too young to know. Yeah. But, yeah, it's, yeah. It worked for me for a while. There's still some stuff that I do like about it. That bit where Bumblebee was being chased by Barricade with that really cool new metal song that was playing over the background. God, what was the name of that band? I actually wound up buying their album. Much to my dismay, that was really the only good song on it. Okay, there were other good songs, but that was the only great song on it. And I think it was only great because I had the attachment to Transformers. But anyway, I did like the designs. I felt like they did a great job. The designers did a great job of bringing the toys into more of a real-world scenario. That's not something everybody appreciates to the same extent. I get that. It probably exists on a sliding scale, as all things do. But you will not catch me hating on the Bayformers movie. They occupied a really awesome time in my life where I was really, really enthusiastic about them, and I will always treasure them for that. That being said, nothing beats the Bumblebee movie, in my estimation. Let's see. I shot a couple 3-0 Transformers videos at Sideshow. They were really top quality figures. That's cool. Game of Thrones, Walking Dead, and Stranger Things as well. Should probably remind everybody at this point that I've kind of shifted this whole scenario, this whole live stream thing away from work. The whole notion of it is for me to engage with other fans of pop culture and talk about pop culture in general. So just kind of trying to steer the conversation away from work. I didn't come here to talk about work. This is a Sideshow free zone. Having said that, I can't answer. I'm not going to answer that question, single songwriter. Mostly because I don't know. Yeah. I'm going to go back through here. How's everybody doing here? Wow, I've got more viewers than I thought I would today, given the short notice of it all. Still got my Joes and Cobras from Sideshow. That was my jam when I was starting 1/6 and still love them. Dude, I used to have all of them, and I sold them all to help fund the move to Charlotte. Only to have to move to St. Louis 2 years later. Good. Yeah, that was a wise investment. Should have left that one alone. They were great figures. I want to say the line probably ended because of fan response. I don't know. I'm pretty sure they do okay in the aftermarket now, though, right? That'd be interesting to know. How much money did I lose out on by selling those things too soon? John liked my Wookiee impression. Thanks, man. I don't know how much of that was me and how much of it was this awesome mic. But yeah, appreciate you. Thank you. Desmond loves the 3-0 Snake Eyes. 3-0 really excels at cutting, so they really do, dude. I mean, I can't believe that they were able to get those costumes to fit in such a way that you get that they were able to maximize the range of motion, which is something I always appreciate. Hugo Ramirez, welcome back, dude. Haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you. Cool ghost shirt. You could do the Pope look from them. Yeah, I suppose I could. A friend of mine who I met at a ghost show here in St. Louis, his name's Scott Blake. Makes masks, makes costumes. He will, I'm not sure if he still does. Maybe he just decided to quit in general, but I've seen his head to toe Papa costumes, various phases of Papa Emeritus, and the details are stunning. I mean, you're going to pay through the nose. Well, I don't want to say pay through the nose for it. That's unkind. He actually charges a fair price for them. But they're not cheap, but you get what you pay for in this regard. So, yeah, check out Scott Blake. I think his company is called Your Dream Creations. It's spelled YORDREEM Creations. And he operates out of Indianapolis or someplace in Indiana. I'm not sure where. How come you moved out of California to St. Louis? Well, John, I moved from California to Charlotte, North Carolina back in 2019 because my wife got promoted and said, you can come if you want. And then, about a year and a half ago, I moved to St. Louis because my wife was just like, get out. So that's why I'm in St. Louis. I'm resetting, trying to figure out what to be when I grow up. Brandy Woods wants to know if we take a drink if Dobby wanders on camera. Yes. Yes, you do. Whether it's coffee or whatever. Actually, after bitching about that coffee that I just threw over my shoulder, Mississippi Mud, their medium roast from Colombia and Brazil, blend from Colombia and Brazil. I'm going to walk that comment about it being the worst coffee ever. I'm going to walk that back because it's actually not bad. And I think the difference was that that this time I'm drinking it out of a mug by Newlay from Three Circle Pottery. But also because I made it a little bit stronger. I legitimately, instead of 31 ounces of beans, 31 grams of beans. See, my international friends, I am actually using the metric system myself. Yeah. Think globally, act locally. But I added 31 grams of beans instead of 30 grams of beans. So I think that little bit just pushed it right over. Next time I'll try 32. Always experiment with your blends, my friends. Because what may be okay can be turned into awesome. That's just science. Tommy D, I saw you ask that question before the show started. Have you been watching Lock and Key? I have not. Tell me about it. What do you think? Because I'm vaguely familiar with the source material, but not much. And I'm really kind of intrigued because when we get in gaps like this, where there's not a whole lot new coming out, I start to explore in my head a little bit the potential for going back and starting a series that I may have neglected. And that's one of them that's been on my mind. Okay. Single songwriter, sorry, dude. Yeah, it's like I said, I really don't know. I'm not. Even when I lived in California, I wasn't really in the know with work. And now that I'm abroad, I'm just isolated. I mean, I know things that they volunteer for me. I'm never involved in any meetings. I'm probably the maintenance engineers at Sideshow probably know more about what's going on there than I do. That's a fair assessment, which is why I'm just like Sideshow Free Zone. John D. Okay, I already answered that question. Which set are we talking about, TK421? I must have missed a comment from Roy. Han and Chewie. You know, I really need that in my life. I actually passed one up at a comic book shop called Rebel Base in Charlotte. They had one sitting on the shelf for a long time. And one of the reasons that I didn't is because it had obviously been in sunlight or under UV light or something for a long time because the box had faded. So I just didn't want to deal with an imperfect box. It's not like me for the most part. AJ Agrusa is here. Welcome, AJ. Good to have you on board. All is very well, except I have no air conditioning, but it's a lovely day in St. Louis right now. I think he checks his watch so that he can tell you the temperature. That's not something my watch does. I think it's like 81 degrees in my house right now. which is a damn sight better than the 94 that it got out to the other day before Scott came along and gave me fans. Nice. Brad Hall is here with us from Australia. Like I said, at least half the people who tune into this thing are international, and I love that. I love that. One of these days I may get to Australia if I can ever endure that freaking plane ride. I hate long plane rides. The woman who would eventually become my wife was attending school in Thailand back in 02 or 03. And I flew down to see her for spring break. And we bounced around everywhere. We did some of Thailand. We did Cambodia. We were going to do Vietnam, but somebody, and I'm not saying who, picked up a horrible case of E. coli poisoning and had to be hospitalized for a couple of days. So we didn't get to go there. But the moral of the story was when I went back. Hey, cool. The moral of the story was when I flew back, my departure time was weirdly at midnight. So I started going at like 7 o'clock that morning and just traveled around with Lindsay. And I think we did a train ride getting back to Bangkok, and then bounced around Bangkok for a little bit, had dinner, took me to the airport, said goodbye, boarded my flight at midnight. Long story short, I was awake for 54 straight hours because I can't sleep on planes. I can't sleep in airports. I'm a very, very light sleeper. I didn't sleep much last night because I was in a strange house. Which is why I have these big bags under my eyes. 54 straight hours. Legitimately, when the plane was landing in St. Louis, I was hearing voices. I was hallucinating. Oral hallucinations, I believe is what they're called. That was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun. Roy, I'm drinking capsules for coffee. Is that the stuff that you just throw in and you close the lid and a cup of coffee spits out? Yeah, they do the trick, I guess. They're not very pleasurable for me, but Brad Hall sees that ghost shirt. New song, Little Sunshine, is cool. Very unique band. Dude, they actually dropped another song since Little Sunshine, which is great. I love some of those licks in there. Like there's this one lick that's just like it's very simple, and you hear it in metal all the time. I probably should just grab the guitar and play it. But yeah, man, it's a tight song. But they just released a video for so I've got multiple ghost songs going through my head right now, so I'm actually gonna have to look this up. But they just released a video for the second track on that album, and again, it's failing. My memory's failing me on this one, but let's just see if I can call it up here. Man, I'm having some slow freaking internet. Spillways. The name of the song is Spillways. I had to actually go back and remember an interview that he was conducting to actually remember what that was. But Spillways is the name of the track from Ghost. The video is really cool. The song is really cool. It talks about how all the rage and all the anger that can build up inside you to the point that you feel like you can't take it anymore and you just need to bleed. For those of you who don't know, a spillway is the part of a dam that allows, when water levels get too high, allows the relief of pressure on the dam by releasing some water into a river beyond or a lake beyond or what have you. And so the song Spillways is legitimately about how how all the shit that's going on in life right now can just build up to the point of just making you want to burst, and you've got that urgent need just to let it spill over. And you need some kind of release, and they talk about how some people just choose to use that pent-up energy to vent, where you just rage at the heavens or what have you. And it's kind of talking a lot about, I think, the way it makes me think of comment sections in social media or on news sites or what have you. Just the way everybody just seems so angry right now. And that's what I love about the most recent Ghost record, is that insofar as socio-political commentary goes, it touches on current events and current attitudes and current mindsets and current culture in a way that I think a lot of modern music lacks. The new Beyonce notwithstanding. I'm on my 5th consecutive listen of that record. It has been on repeat in my car for the past 3 days. Why is Beyonce so good, guys? I mean, people talking about Ghost making a deal with the devil. I got my eye on you, Queen Bee. Brandy Woods retracted a message. Nothing like regrets. Going back. Did you watch the Elvis movie? Forgot all about it. Thank you. Thank you. I need to put that back on my radar. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Nespresso mostly quite addictive. Yeah, I've heard that about espresso. I don't know if I'll ever try it, except for maybe just for the purpose of just trying it, or if there was nothing else in the room. Lane Kramer's here. Hey, dude. How you doing this morning? That's your first question. Lane Kramer, everybody, always has some great questions for the chats, for myself, and whatever. So it's always good to have you here and asking things that might just be thought-provoking. Just unboxed my Taskmaster figure from Hot Toys. Isn't it great? I did do that vid. Yeah. Just reminding everybody, Sideshow Free Zone. My Han and Chewie are the exclusives, says Single Songwriter, but they came in their individual boxes, not the 2-pack and no shippers, because I got them in Hong Kong way back in 2015, 2016. Wow. They've been around for that long. It's anybody else kind of freak out when you pause and think about how long ago certain things were? I just posted something on my Facebook page where I pointed out, I realized that The Phantom Menace is now a year older than A New Hope was when Phantom Menace was released. Damn. Starts counting wrinkles. Yeah. I feel another midlife crisis coming on when I think about shit like that. Oh, Mr. Imagination came home to no AC myself. Hugs, bro. Seriously. Wow. It sucks, man. What's the prognosis? I mean, is it repairable, or are you gonna have to get a new unit? Because new units aren't cheap. New units are not cheap. My collecting is on a hiatus. My collecting is so on a hiatus that this week I actually had to show off a cooler. That's where it is right now. That's where we are. Let's see. AJ Gruss, oh, that's bad. We finally got a break in temperature here in Michigan. Yeah, same here, dude. It's going to be warm today, but at least the humidity seems to have subsided quite a bit. For those of you who don't know, Midwestern humidity can be brutal as hell. It's like, it legitimately gets like Africa hot here at times in St. Louis. In fact, I've brought this up in one of the previous live streams, but Lewis and Clark, the great expeditionaries who charted the frontier going up the Missouri River all the way to the Northwest Passage, coast, whatever you want to call it, they started their expedition from St. Louis. And in their journals, you will find that they mark the St. Louis area as uninhabitable. There's some tough motherfuckers here, that's right. Anyway. It occurred to me at some point, does anybody just like freak out when I drop an F-bomb? Because my mouth is so clean every time I go on a official live stream, and then all of a sudden I'm like, yeah, fuck off. Oh, okay, cool. Thank you, TK421. Yeah, for those of us who actually grew up around dams, and there were like 2 dams within a bicycle ride from my house in Illinois. There's just like tiny lakes everywhere. So yeah, I've known what a spillway was since I was 5. But if you don't grow up around some dams, then you may not know. For those of you just tuning in, we're talking about spillways in regards to the new Ghost song. So again, if you haven't listened to Ghost Impera, maybe the appearance of the band might throw you off, because you think it's going to be kind of like something like Behemoth is the first band that comes to mind. They are not. Their appearance suggests that they would be hard black metal. They're bubblegum metal through and through, man. They are 70s, 80s pop metal at the hardest. Seriously. Good stuff. I really, really enjoy them. And their new album is definitely worth checking out if you have the time and inclination. I think Brandy Woods has started listening to Ghost, and she seems to be quite taken with them. And every show that I go to, the crowd is bigger. That's right, single songwriter. F-bombs are rock and roll. I hope Hot Toys updates Han. So do I. Yeah, so do I. And I'm going to wax into that just a little bit here. I think that we're seeing a lot of updates, especially in the past few weeks, and I welcome that. I welcome that because, I mean, just in regards to Black Panther, I remember seeing the Black Panther figure and thinking, glorious, back when it was first released. But they weren't happy with it. They didn't like it. They looked at their own stuff and said, I think we can do better. And now we have this new version coming out. And I'm just like, yeah. Thank you. Thank you for that. Same thing with Mark III. What else is being re-released? I haven't taken a close look at the Cell Strike suit, but I'm sure there have been improvements made on that. It's just not in my... I don't dare look too closely at it because then I'll want it. Yeah, I know myself. I have low sales resistance and almost no impulse control. Man. Okay. Max Turnfield, top 3 Hot Toys figures. Yeah, that'd take too long to answer. I've got to think about it. It changes all the time too, Max. I don't know. It's I mean, I can tell you my top one right now is the Boba Fett deluxe set from The Mandalorian. It's at the top. It's on the top shelf of my D-top here to the right, and I can't stop freaking looking at it. I think it's an amazing set. I just absolutely love it. I mean, I think it's fantastic. Legitimately, any top 3 thing that I rattle off is going to be whatever comes to my mind in the moment. So I think another one that I would name, because I keep thinking that I should get rid of it because it doesn't really fit in the collection, but it's just such a strong figure, is the Rey and Dio set from Rise of Skywalker. It's gorgeous. Great portrait. The cut and sew on it is really on point. I don't mind the seamless arms at all. And it hits great poses. And that Dio figure, man, what a cute little freaking droid. I mean, what a cute little piece of merchandising. It's true. It's true that Dio was such a cash grab, and I don't care. They had to make him fit. It's almost like they had such great success with BB-8 and that with the design and the engineering of that little ball droid, that they were like, okay, hold my beer. Let's see what else we can do. And they came up with this little freaking wheel droid that's even cuter than BB-8. I mean, you know that meme of the dude walking with the girl and he's looking back, checking out the ass of the other girl that's just walked by, and his girlfriend is holding his hand, just looking at him like, what the fuck? I feel like there are memes, like there should be an R2-D2, there should be a BB-8 replacing the girl whose ass is getting checked out, next to an R2-D2, the guy's walking with an R2-D2, and then a subsequent meme where the guy's walking with BB-8 and he's turning to check out the ass of Dio. That's exactly what's happening here for me. I can't speak for everybody, obviously, but that took way longer to answer than I thought it would. So that's 2. I don't know. You know what shocked me? How much I liked it, because I didn't think I would. I mean, I knew I'd like it, but I didn't expect to love it, is the Arena Suit Fett. Yeah. In person, that thing is chef's kiss gorgeous. Yeah, a lot of people are going to be sad not to have that in their collections, I think. So, anyway. So hope that answered that. Ask me again in an hour. I'll have a whole different set of answers. Well, a lot of people. You know what I love here is that I see a lot of people interacting with each other in the chat, not necessarily talking to me. Yeah, because that's really awesome. I started this live stream just on a lark because I was bored one day, because I was icing down a wounded knee. Carry my heart to Wounded Knee. I was icing down my wounded knee, and my hair was drying, and I was bored, and I'm just like, ah. And I clicked live, go live on Facebook. And it wound up being fun. And I did it a couple more times. And I thought about Paulie. I thought about Paul Sun-Yun Lee, and his Bitter Asian Dude live streams that he does, the Funboxing Sundays that he does. And I was like, yeah, I could try that. And I just wanted to do it in a way that wouldn't interfere with his live stream. So I chose Saturday morning because that was the day that I did it first. And that was one of the things that I love about Paul's live streams, is that everybody seems to be interacting. That being said, I think a lot of the people who are here are also active participants in Paulson Hindley's live streams. And seriously, if you are not participating in those on Sunday nights or whenever he's doing them now, you're missing out, because it's a lot of fun. He's a hilarious dude, and he's got a drinking game. One of the things that happens is you have to drink your entire drink if he has to get up to take a leak, which that's just funny. So much fun. Go check it out. Bitter Asian Dude Incorporated is the name of the YouTube channel, and I find it delightful. It's really what kind of started to bring me back into the joy that I used to get from collecting, because my collecting was becoming work. And this, what I'm doing here with you guys, has helped me a lot to get back into that passion. You can legitimately see a change in my demeanor on the live streams that I do for work, and I credit that directly with interacting with you guys, so I appreciate that. I appreciate you showing up. Here's to you. I'm gonna hoist my cup of shitty coffee in your honor. It's not that shitty, I swear. Really. Brad Hall is here. Hey, Brad. We knew that. I tell you, the heat here gets outlandish. Yeah, I heard that. Brad Hall is in Australia, everybody. We are in winter here right now. Summer gets like 109 at times. Some places get 45 to 50 Celsius. Yeah. Yeah, You guys are going to have it bad with climate change. I don't envy Australia in the coming decades. I worry about you guys. I was just watching, what's the name of that comedian? Hofstetter, Brad Hofstetter or something like that, the redheaded guy. But he was doing a bit on how he was at the he was there for the wildfires that destroyed like 95% of your country. It's just, oh yeah, dude, it's rough, and it's going to get worse. Yeah, I wish I'd bought in like Detroit or someplace further north instead of coming back to this. And when I say hellhole, St. Louis is really not a cultural hellhole. It's just a meteorological hellhole. I mean, I love the town. I love the people in it, by and large. Anyway, don't want to wander too far down that path. Christopher Colvin is here. Hey, dude, how's R2? Happy weekend. Yeah, you got to get yourself one of these, man. It's really, really cool. Speaking of ball droids, there's my little BB9E by Hot Toys. It lights up, but I don't think I ever put the batteries in it. But this thing is really cool. For those of you who don't know, it legitimately has a weight. It's engineered that has a weight on the inside, much like BB-8 does, BB-9E does, so that it stays completely stable in your hands and won't fall over. And of course, this is attached by a magnet that works pretty much anywhere on the droid, so that you can give him a little bit of personality and cock his head, have him looking up at you or whatever. I love this. I love these little ball droids. I have 3. I have the one that came with the Rey Deluxe set. And then I have the BB-8 and BB-9E set. And they actually improved for the next movie, for Rise of Skywalker, they actually improved the overall look of BB-8. I think the colors were more on point, and I think the edges were a little bit sharper. Maybe the antennae were a little bit more. I'm not sure if that was screen accurate. I'm not sure if there were changes that were made in the droid, the prop, whatever. But they definitely made improvements. Hot Toys did. BrodyBoy448. Hey, dude, what's up? Hey, Terry, love the stream. Have you done much Lego collecting? Not much, and I'll tell you why. Space hogs. Absolute space hogs, man, and I'm limited on space. What I do have in the other room is I have the UCS Slave 1, and I'll never stop calling it that. Looking at you, Mickey. Yeah, it's they're great, dude. They're so great. And there's actually a I've seen a lot of the others in person. Like, I'm really longing for that AT-AT, that Lego AT-AT, the UCS AT-AT. $800 of pure childish glee. Seriously, if I had that. Scott Heinemeier, sound off if you're still here. I think he's probably gone. He's a busy boy. But he and I talked about maybe getting together and just doing that periodically, just like kind of like in Spider-Man. Join me, and together we will build my Lego Death Star. Yeah, just a couple of geeks getting together just to like have fun and chat and build Legos together. I mean, I would love to do that, but seriously, the ones that I would want would be, of course, the Falcon for $1,000, the AT-AT for 800. I'm really sad that I missed out on the Y-wing, the UCS Y-wing, because I think the Y-wing might be my favorite starfighter from Star Wars. Again, much like my Hot Toys thing, that can change at the end of the day. Okay, moving along. Oh, for Roy, I think you're saying that your top two are your Hot Toys Yondu and Star Lord. I can't. What's in this? What the fuck is in this? Those are cool figures, man. I was thinking about Yondu the other day, about that Hot Toys Yondu, and how absolutely glorious it is. That likeness to Jesus. Once again, Terry's drawing a blank on actors' names. Again, like that guy, I can never remember that guy's name, the one that plays, I know it's going to be a tired old joke eventually, but the guy that plays Captain Carson Teva. Yeah. Nice. Asian dude, looks angry. Maybe bitter, I don't know. Totally trying to flush out Paulie if he's waiting in the chats. Yeah, again, everybody's interacting, and that's great. Some collector who has all three droids need to take a picture like that meme. Don't give me any ideas, dude. But I think you're right. I might be that collector. John Deek. When Hot Toys revealed the head sculpt for the Mark 85, 1/6 Society had over 1,000 plus comments complaining. What happened? My comments just took a jump. I must have been way the hell behind. Yeah, I was way the hell behind. Sorry, let me try to catch up here. Yeah. Oh, Max Kernfeld is talking about something being lit. I've fallen so far behind, I don't even know what it is. A single songwriter. I want to see the Arena Fett with the Django head sculpt on it holding the helmet. That'd be tight. That'd be tight. I have, I know I just said that I'm on a collecting hiatus, but I'd recently made the decision to cut myself down to no more than one new Hot Toys figure a month. And, and I've nailed it down. I kind of have an idea of where I want to go with it. But, and of course, this all depends on release schedule. I'm not sure when any of this is shipping, so I don't know. But top of my list is the Transport Trooper. That's a hole that I want to fill. I dig the look of them. I know that at least two people who are on this chat on a regular basis have said that they got the Transport Trooper and actually returned it because they just didn't like it. Yeah, opinions vary. I know people who've bought it and then wanted more because they just dug it. But I don't know. I don't even know why I like it. Again, like so many other things, it just seems like, okay, let's repaint the tank pilot, the tank commander, and sell it. Kind of like with the Shore Troopers, same thing. But they just are so cool. I don't know. So that's one option. Option two is Jango Fett. I could get Jango Fett next month. Depending on release schedule, if it actually arrives at Sideshow's warehouse, then the Boba Fett arena suit. And what seems more likely would be the Clone Trooper Chrome version, which yeah, apparently just dropped. Yeah, because that video went live. So those are my four: Chrome Clone, Arena Fett, Jango Fett, or Transport Trooper. One of those four I will be picking up at the end of the month. I've actually set an alarm to let myself the last Monday of every month to remind myself that it's time to pick a new figure. And I don't think one figure a month is too unreasonable. But then again, I haven't written a check for $4,100 for an air conditioner yet. We'll see how I feel on Wednesday. Let's see. Oh. Yeah, you were... Christopher Colbin was digging my BB9E. That's right. You made a comment about it on Facebook. Yeah, get you that. Single Songwriter agrees that Paul is such a good guy and a fun stream. Definitely. It's my favorite stream on YouTube. As far as I'm concerned, nothing beats it. He's very self-deprecating. He's very humble. He talks a lot about how he plays down the level of his of his unboxings. But he does a better job in his live streams than I do on mine. I mean, that's ridiculously complex, having to handle the multiple cameras and everything. But his tech goes a little bit higher than my own in that he has an overhead camera that focuses on the box, allowing people to see it more clearly. Plus, he's not shooting in the dark like I am. He's clearly focused on actually really showing you the figure and everything that it's capable of. And he does it in a way that's fun and entertaining. He's got a little mascot and a 6-scale Boba Fett that's constantly giving him shit, and vice versa. And it's just a lot of fun, man. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, yeah, some of these shows may be a little bit more slick or whatever. I don't care about that. I just want to be entertained, and I want to see the nuts and bolts of the thing. That's it. I mean, I'm not a big fan of watching YouTube shows. Somebody asked me, I was recently on a guest on Toy Quest 101, which is a really awesome channel. Go check that out. It's a father-daughter team, and they're really great. I love them to pieces. And they asked me what other shows similar to my own YouTube channel what other channels do I watch on a regular basis, and I had to say none. I just don't. I'm always amazed that people watch my YouTube stuff because I don't get it. I don't 100% get YouTube. But when I watch Paulie's show, then I do get it because that's pure entertainment. And the fact that none of it seems contrived. You know, everything is just off the cuff. You can tell that he's just having a lot of fun, and he's genuine when he's engaging with his audience. He genuinely considers people in it part of his tribe, so to speak. So I've gushed enough about Paulie. Love you, dude. Hugo Ramirez. Yeah, I agree about the Vader thing, man. It's totally on point. Oh, John Deek says it's going to be 110 today in Calabasas. I'll take your 110 over my 100 any day of the week. Not to be unsympathetic, but yeah, that's still brutal. I don't envy you. Tommy D. Oh, he's talking to Chris Colvin again. Everybody's interacting today. And I love that. R2's going to see Star Wars Under the Stars tonight. Is there a show? It's playing outdoors somewhere, and you're going to take your R2 unit? For those of you who don't know, Christopher Colvin is he's got an R2 unit. He's built a full-size, fully functional R2 unit, and it's glorious. It's so good. Yeah, check out his stuff, man, because it's a lot of fun. I envy you guys, you engineers, because that's what you are. You're freaking engineers in my book, who actually are able to do that. All I see, every time I think about doing something, all I see is the future of failure. My future failure. Scott is still here. Hey, dude. Man, how far behind am I in these questions? Wow, quite a ways. Oh, the ad is $850 now due to inflation. Yeah, that stinks. Scott is going to get the Falcon for us to do. Dude, that's ambitious. That's a lot of fun. TK4121 Collectibles. That Lego AT-AT has nearly got me, but I need to stick to Hot Toys. Money and space is a thing. Preach, brother, preach. I'd like to know how heavy it is, because I do have a floating shelf that's firmly anchored into the walls. I mean, to the point that I could probably do pull-ups on the frame. And I would like to find out. I'm going to have to check the weight of that thing, because it would really look cool up there. And I'd have to do the dimensions too, because there is clearance to think about. How about a quarter scale Hot Toys, Terry? What's your take? I am about to open up a quarter scale Mando and Child. So I'll let you know. I do have the quarter scale. All right, I have had the quarter scale Spider-Man, the one that we used for. Can't remember which one it was. It was the one that we used for Strike a Pose. Was it the Iron Spider suit? I don't think so. I think it was the integrated suit. Either way, it's the one that Paul got second place on. Remember that one? On which Paul was robbed. That's the episode. But so I've played with that. And it's really cool. You can do a lot of cool things with them. And they're all in for it. That you can tell that they're all in for it because of what you saw at Comic-Con. So I think they had like 3 or 4 quarter scale Spider-Man suits there. So they're moving forward with that. Howard loves Spider-Man. So you can look forward to that being a thing, and you can look for them to doing a great job with it because he's passionate about it. And you can tell when Howard's passionate about something because that's the stuff that really excels. I hope Hot Toys dives single songwriter. I hope Hot Toys dives headfirst into their vehicles line. That would be fun. A Razor Crest cockpit. I'm not sold on the cockpits for display purposes, but a lot of people seem to be, and I think that would be really cool. I love that M1 Starfighter. It looks really neat. I will never have room for it. TK421 loves the Transport Trooper. That's how far behind I am on these questions. I'm going to breeze right through these really quick. Single songwriter, watch the Andor trailer in slow-mo, just looking and dreaming of all these Hot Toys. Yes, dude. That is... We are living in a golden age. I don't know how Hot Toys is going to be able to keep up with all the goodness that's coming down the pipe. Maybe a little... Desmond Hessing, I like the Transport Trooper, but also building an Imperial recruiting poster display, so I may be a little pro-trooper biased. Dude. Seriously, man. Yeah. Did you ever see the homage photograph that I did of Empire of Style? That painting by that ridiculously talented artist whose name that I can never remember. Somebody help me out. Who did Empire of Style? Sound off in the chats. I'll get to it in like 15 minutes with my current rate of reading these comments. Let's see. Just picked up Snowspeeder Luke. What an awesome figure. It looks really great. I don't have it. I have the original from Sideshow, which is good. That was one of their strongest figures, I think, from their Star Wars line. Brad Hall. Collectors are some of the coolest people on the planet, hands down. They can be. All unique. Most are really down to earth. We live life, my friends. We are in a golden age of excitement for the hobby. Yeah, I totally agree with everything you just said. I think the bad apples are sometimes the more vocal contingent, and there are certain attitudes that can bring the whole experience down. That's happened to me. There have been times where I've just read people's comments on things, and I'm like, man, I don't know if I want to hang with this crowd. But then there's people like you guys, and I'm just like, all right. And legitimately, this is why this stream has been good for me, because the overwhelming positivity that comes out in the chats in this live stream has been very inspirational for me, kind of grounding. Mr. Imagine came home to Moff Gideon Hoth Flight Suit Luke. That's a good 1-2 combo, brother. I've got Moff Gideon here. That was one of my last impulse buys. Love that suit. Love that getup. Love that design. The whole TIE Fighter pilot armor, and mixing with that really slick Imperial officer look and the Dracula cape. The Dracula cape is what really did it for me. Let's see. Django and Moff Gideon, the next two on my list. Just ordered Snowspeeder. Luke, yeah, you're really all in, AJ. Good for you, buddy. Brady Woods misses a little boba. Did Paul do a stream last week? I was tied up with air conditioner nonsense, so I didn't get to watch if it was. Terry Django. So much bang for the buck. That's kind of where I'm leaning, bro. Yeah. Oh, yeah, man. If I always forget to do this, but you'd be doing me a favor, the channel a favor, if you'd hit like, and if you're not subscribed, then do so. Although I would imagine everybody here already has. Brad Hall, congrats to Mr. Yeah, both are great figures, dude. Christopher Gould says Little Boba is a delicate flower. Little Boba is a delicate flower. That poor guy, he's had it rough. Roy, thanks, man. Good night. I know it's got to be getting late over there in Israel. So, yeah. We just lost an international, everybody. If you haven't yet, please make sure you like Terry Smith's stream. Christopher Colvin just echoing my own sentiments. Thank you. Quarter scale Ant-Man pose running with 1/6 scale in-game figures would look awesome on a shelf. Great idea. Because 1/6 scale Giant Man would just be too much. Can you imagine a palm that was big enough to hold Hulk and... Oh, he's not in here. I was going to bring my my Iron Patriot into the camera, but he's over there on my coffee table. Kenneth Bird is here. Hello, Kenneth Bird. Welcome. I think I would rather have the AT-AT in playset scale. UCS sets are great, but they also can be too big. Dude, you're not wrong. Yeah, that AT-AT is huge. Hot Toys is only 21 years young. God. By the way, I hate to bring up... maybe I won't. Yeah. 1 second here, everybody. I gotta check something. Oh, I love Facebook memories. They crack me up. There we go. Yeah, okay. Yeah. All right, I guess I will bring this up. Brian Ono died. Brian Ono died. I wasn't going to talk about this, but I guess I will. Yeah, we're only an hour into what was going to be a 45-minute live stream. For those of you who don't know, Brian Ono was the head of awesomeness at EFX Collectibles, and I met Brian a few times. He probably would not be able to pick me out of a lineup, but we had several conversations, and I only ever found him to be interesting and kind and enjoy and that he had a true passion for what his company did. I'd go so far as to say meticulous almost to a fault. He refused to release a piece until it would meet his exacting standards. And I have a few of them here. And I was going to sell one. I was going to sell my X-Wing, but I don't know. Something about Brian's passing has me thinking again about that. I don't know. But yeah, I don't even know. I didn't even know was he sick? Was it sudden? I don't even know any details. I just know that a mutual friend posted about it, and yeah, really sucks. Not to bring the whole vibe of the thing down, but if you guys aren't aware of EFX Collectibles, yeah, check them out because they really do some strong shit. That's my my Boba Fett helmet that was autographed by Tim Morrison. That's from EFX. Again, I've got a Mandalorian helmet around here. That's the state of my place. I don't even know where shit is. Somewhere around here is a Mandalorian helmet. And I've got the Rogue, the Red 5 X-Wing that they did, studio scale X-Wing, exact replica of the shooting model from A New Hope. But yeah, big loss to the collecting world. I don't know what EFX is going to be like without him. It'll be interesting to see because I think, yeah. Where'd I go? Oh, comments have slowed down. That's kind of a relief, I guess. Keith Lee's here. Hey, dude, you made it. I should be saying the same thing about myself. I actually wasn't even sure if I was going to make it today. In fact, I was just messaging Brandy and was just like, yeah, I'm not doing it today. And then, you know what? What was it, Brandy? Like 30 minutes later, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do it. Whatever. Hugo Ramirez, Star Wars for life, words I live by. Pretty much. Where are we at? Great job this past week on the Venomized Iron Man Unsealed and Revealed. Thank you, man. Thank you. That was all guy though. Seriously, let's face facts. I'm just kind of like the ringmaster of that 3-ring circus, and but Guy puts in all the real effort there. That's all him. He's the one who sweats. Yeah, I just kick back and provide sometimes amusing commentary. Brad Hall says the N1 will be his. You hope. Good morning, Keith Lee, and good morning. Okay, Laura Keeles is here. Hello, Laura Keeles. Welcome. Okay, I'm trying to think. Was there anything else I wanted to talk about today? Was there anything else you guys wanted to talk about today? Yeah. Because I'm kind of tired. And I kind of want to take Dobby to the park. And I want to have this guy strapped to my shoulder when I do it. Would it be better on this shoulder? I think this shoulder's probably better. No, this shoulder's actually narrower than the other shoulder because it was that whole side of me was compressed during a tragic bicycle crash years ago. Look for it sometime and you'll see it. Big Bara Jace, what's your thoughts on the Clone Wars Ahsoka Tano? I didn't come here to talk about work, bro. Did we already cover the new announcements from Hot Toys from this week? I'm going to walk that back. I'm just going to go on record as saying everything that I'm seeing from Sideshow in the Clone Wars line is a done deal for me. I mean, I'm all in. I think they're doing a fine job, and I really look forward to having that realization of the animated version of the characters in a collection on a shelf. It's especially the core, and I think they're doing it right. Releasing, they didn't go back and get the tween version of Ahsoka. They just did that, just a little bit more mature, just entering adolescence. That's a good time for her. That's really the formative years for her. A lot of stuff happened to her then. It wasn't until it was about season 4 or season 5 when she really started to go off on her own, become less annoying. She started becoming more mature and developing her own ideals that may have departed from. Yeah. So thank you, Big Barra Jace. That's actually a very great question that leads into some great stuff that we can talk about. And that is, quite frankly, that character and that series is one of my favorite topics of conversation. But yeah, just the way that she went from just being this annoying kid to really coming into her own and developing ideals that kind of walked a parallel to her mentors, but also diverged in a very specific way as a result of her own experiences, making her become one of her own, like a totally different person that did not adhere to that particular faith. And that, actually, looking at it from that perspective, makes me think that might mirror my own divorce from my own faith that I was brought up with as a child. The same sort of experiences. So I kind of sympathize with that perspective because very similar things happen to me. The more you get out into the world, no matter how closely you stay physically with your mentors, with your parents or parental figures, what have you, those outside influences will affect your worldview and allow you to grow in ways that you wouldn't ordinarily grow if you'd been kept sheltered, for instance. So yeah, I welcome that. I welcome that question. Thanks for that. That's given me something that I'm probably going to be thinking about for the rest of the day, on and off. I do have other things I have to think about. I don't always think about Clone Wars, people. God, it's not true. I always think about Clone Wars. Was that great? It's a great line from there. Was an interview with Joss Whedon where he was talking about Firefly, and he was just like, he was like, yeah, I was thinking about something which made me think about the Millennium Falcon, because most things do. Just explaining the birth of Firefly, the origins of Firefly. So that was kind of cool. But yeah, at some point in time, I will always find a way to think about Clone Wars. But anyway, yeah. To answer your question as brief as possible, Ahsoka's on point. I've heard people say that they don't think so. The thing about Ahsoka is that it's like so many other fandoms. There is a particular look to a certain character. Like, let's just say somebody like Mark Hamill. Over the years, you get Hot Toys, Sideshow, various people sculpting statues, action figures, portraits of Mark Hamill. And the man's face is so mercurial. And he just does so many crazy faces and expressions. It's like his face is made of liquid. And it's very rare that you'll find the exact same expression on his face. And everybody is going to have a favorite moment, or a favorite still photo, or a favorite scene, or a favorite promotional photo, or whatever that features that expression by Mark Hamill. And when somebody generates a portrait, for a three-dimensional portrait for a figure, somebody like me will look at it and say, nailed it. And somebody else will look at it and say, well, that doesn't look like him at all. And it's because your head is stuck on that particular look from that particular photo or that particular favorite scene of yours. And that's not what was achieved. So I think it's important to allow yourself to recognize that, to realize just how your brain functions. I mean, I know not everybody follows podcasts about neuroscience, because that would be weird. Okay, I follow podcasts about neuroscience, and that's exactly how the brain sees things. That's you just grow acclimated to a particular preconceived image in your head, and when something diverges from that, something you see diverges from that, your brain rebels, and that's when you get like knee-jerk responses from some people. But be aware of that. Wow, I turned my head for a second talking about Clone Wars and neuroscience, and all of a sudden the whole thing just blew up. Sandman can wait for next week. I kind of wonder if I should bring up Prey again, because I did see that. I tried to talk about Sandman last week, and nobody had seen it because y'all motherfuckers had watched Prey. And now that I've seen it, I get why. New Mark III ab crunch. I need to do some ab crunches myself, bro. John Deek is going back to sleep. You lazy sod. All right, man. Thanks, bro. Thanks for the first look on the Chrome Trooper. Ow. Again, I'm not here to talk about work, but I have to say I did get a very nice comment from producer Paul, from Paul, on that video, and it really made me feel good. I want to see Clone Wars animated Anakin on the Hot Toys staff. That will look amazing. Nothing like playing with your toys, right? Yeah, I agree. I don't know that I'm getting that stap. It's a lot of money, and I've got a stap. It's not the blue stap, which is really cool. But I don't know. We'll see. I might. Thoughts on Hot Toys R2? I will never, ever, ever complain about Hot Toys R2. The first one that we got from Force Awakens was cool. Excuse me, coffee's making me burpy. The second one that we got from I don't even remember which movie it was from. Was it an all-encompassing A New Hope Empire OT R2? I don't know. I've got that one downstairs somewhere. It's probably a nest of spiders by now. But that's great. I mean, it's really, really brilliant. And this new one that's coming from episode 2, gorgeous, 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 gorgeous. I just love the fact that a movie that got as much hate as Attack of the Clones did back in the day is seeing what is probably the most hotly anticipated release of an R2 and 3PO in recent memory. Seriously, I'm just so happy with Hot Toys for releasing that. Again, I probably won't own it because I've got the Sideshow 3PO and I've got the aforementioned R2, and that's probably going to have to do. But I don't know, man. That silver 3PO, metallic 3PO, I guess, non-chromed 3PO. Chris Colvin, thoughts on Hot Toys? Oh, I just answered that. Sorry. Brad Hall from Australia. Get some good rest. Always awesome talking. Oh, that's also for, yeah. Again, I love it. Can we talk about Prey now that you've seen it? Yeah, of course, man. Talk about Prey all you want. I think it's, when I wrapped up seeing Prey, I was like, that is the second best Predator movie of all time. And now I'm thinking it might be the best. If again, talking about the way that the brain works and the pull of nostalgia, which kind of keeps people rooted in their past and can sometimes be confining enough that it doesn't allow you to move forward and appreciate the new and find value in new things and new experiences. I think that once I've divorced myself from my connection to the original Predator, and just took a look at it objectively, I think it's close, but I do think that Prey squeaks past that one a little bit. And I'll have to think about it before I can really defend that call a little as well as I can. But I will say that insofar as social political commentary is concerned, I think that the movie has more value in that regard. I think that it's representative in a lot of ways that the other film wasn't. And I don't know. I just really, really appreciate everything about it. I need to go back and rewatch it. I know that people have said some negative things about the design of the Predator. And I'm talking about artists that I really strongly respect have come forward and said that. So I really want to take a look at that and analyze it a little bit before I make my call on the design of the Predator. But overall, very, very strong stuff. And I really appreciate that they actually adopted that dog specifically for the film. Because of the breed. Because it's as close to a genuine representation of what sort of a dog a Comanche woman might have in that time period. So that's really cool for me as a dog lover, as a dog person. I understand that the dog was a big pain in the ass because it wasn't trained, but I'm glad that they stuck it out. They tried really hard to be kind to that dog in the way they talked about it. They were clearly very frustrated with it. Desmond is talking to Keith Lee, so I'll leave that between them. Again, so much great conversation going on here in the background, and I really love that. Tommy D loves the Predator's mask. Yeah, me too, bro. Yeah. Anthony's here from Figure Posing Channel. Hello. Yes, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, your brain only... Anthony says your brain only remembers a few iconic features of a face and then just fills in the rest. That's accurate. That's why you see a lot of sculptors, when they're sculpting, they'll take that sculpt and they'll flip it upside down. Because just divorcing themselves from the familiarity of seeing the face right side up allows them to be more critical of the different aspects of the person's portrait. And you can just flip I guess you could probably also flip your source material upside down and do the same thing. That probably helps. Wow. Sorry, everybody. I hate dead air as much as the next person, but this is why it helps, I guess, to actually have somebody on hand to monitor the chats and softball some questions that way. Gina B. Collecting is here. Another fabulous Canadian. Watch Sandman and Prey. Me too now. That's awesome. I'm actually getting ready. As soon as I get AC, I'm going to rewatch Sandman again. It's just been too uncomfortable here until the past couple of days to do anything in this house. And I've got all the doors and windows open, which is very uncomfortable for me because I got no screens. Like, legitimately, there's a screen on the back door, but like all my windows open, they're like on hinges and they swing out like this with cranks. That's how my windows work. And not all of them work because a lot of them are painted shut. Seriously, give me 5 minutes alone in the room with whoever flipped my house. And they'll get a tongue lashing. Fat Man's collecting nightmare. The collection room can turn a day around much like a good stream. Dude, that is so true. That is so true. Sometimes I'll be laying there on my couch watching a movie or Sandman and might be feeling a little bit down, but then I turn my head in there and I see all these X-Men and I see that hodgepodge of shit that I got up there on the shelf, and I'm just like, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah. Oh. Desmond Hessing says, yeah, more of the humor comes through because the script was originally written in Comanche. That's awesome. I didn't know that. I know that there's a Comanche dub of the film that you can watch by just selecting it in the subtitles menu, whatever you call it. And I probably will do that at some point. Because I think that would be really, really cool. Christopher Colvin prefers the OTR2 from Hot Toys. Yeah, I get that. Although I think you can, I may be mistaken here, and correct me if I'm wrong, feel free, but I feel like the episode 2 R2, you can make it look like the OT R2 enough that it works. But you've got the fine eye for the detail on R2. I will always defer to your wisdom when it comes to R2D2. You've made that a course of study, my friend. John Galgano, Sandman and Prey were both good. I hope we don't have to wait too long for Sandman Season 2. Yeah, same. I wonder what the production schedule is on that. I know it's been greenlit, right? Pretty sure it's been greenlit. Fat Man's Collecting Nightmares says, the mask is amazing. It was beautifully shot for sure. Definitely, yeah. Yeah, definitely. While we're talking about shot, I was talking to a friend of mine from high school, from grade school, actually, and about Sandman. He's the guy that introduced me to Sandman back in the day, and we each collected every issue month by month as it was coming out. So that's something we've been talking about legitimately since, 1988, I think? Anyway. But his only real grievance was that they didn't... How did he put it? I'm going to include commentary from my friend here without his permission. But I'm also not identifying him, so fuck it. Oh. His reply after I sent him the little nudge that he could go watch it. Well, it took me a bit. We didn't care for the first episode. I don't like the score, and I missed the lack of visual eccentricity that Sam Keith and Mike Dringenberg gave. I liked the second episode more than the third, and the third more. Fourth was very good. David Thewlis is awesomely creepy, much better than Corinthian, who is in it a bit too much for me. Patton's Raven takes me out of the scene too much. I wish they'd gone with someone else there. I like that they pronounce Constantine correctly. Yeah. See, you can tell that Mark and I just go way back with this shit because yeah, we're just talking about this as we always have. But I agree with almost everything he said. Patton Oswalt's voice does take me out of it. Having said that, I'm very happy for the guy. He is such an absurd nerd. And I'm very happy for him that he was able to land that role of Matthew the Raven, because seriously, that is a coup on his part. Great stuff. Again, I just can't not hear Patton Oswalt in the Raven's voice. And I agree that the visual style of it was probably just a little too vanilla compared to the source material, but I think that works, and I think it was necessary in order to draw in a bigger fan base. You're not just making this for people who read the Sandman books, and you're not just it's a completely separate entity. And I think that they made up for that by, in a lot of ways, the framing of some of the shots was straight out of the comic books, and I love that. So it's decisions have to be made when you're translating something from one medium to another, and I think that they did a fine job with it. I can see it, Mark's points, but they're not deal breakers for me by any stretch of the imagination. I also disagree about. I'm also really surprised to hear that he didn't like episode 1. I thought that was great stuff, and the casting for Dream was, for everybody, actually, was just on point. David Thewlis, oh my God, nobody could be creepy like him. Let's see. Brad Hall agrees that Prey was the best Predator film. Yeah, sound off. What do you guys think? Prey is better than the original. The circumstances are less contrived. Desmond nailed it. Nailed it. Wow. And that's saying something, because I don't know how contrived the original was, but definitely less on this point. Keith Lee, Prey, that scene in the grass field made me think, what if Predator versus Velociraptor? I had the same thought, bro. No shit. Seriously, I was right there with you. Prey was that good, I've watched it twice now. Awesome. Someday I too hope to be able to say that I've watched it twice. Once in Comanche. No CIA rescue operation was necessary to set up the hunt in Prey. All right, I get it. Yeah, I get it. I see that. Yeah. Oh, wow. Commander Green is here. Hello, Harold. I'm going to say it again. If you haven't checked out Harold Green's Instagram account, Commander Green's Instagram account, check it out. He's been working on his figure photography for a long time, and he is a contender, my friends. He's really, really good. He's got some really, really good stuff. Cinematography on Prey had me hooked right from the beginning. It was gorgeous, dude. It had the feel of a Terrence Malick film in a lot of places. I mean, I just kept thinking of the first time that I saw Thin Red Line. Just that, I mean, the cinematography in that was just so on point, just so gorgeous, and a lot of that came through. In some places, I also saw Apocalypto. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that was I just saw bits of that in there as well. A lot of people, some people complained to me about how it was all in English, and I'm just like, nah. Again, you have to make that decision to allow more people to find it accessible. I don't want to say anything snobbish, but I was married to a snob for a number of years, and she would call out shit like that, and I'd be like, yeah, you're just wanting it for yourself. You want to have that exclusivity. And I get that, but you can't. You got to share shit. Figure posing channel. Oh, that's a cool brain hack. Didn't know that, but it's brilliant. I've already forgotten. Was it something I said? I don't know. What did I say? Now I have to go back and rewatch. How far into this are we? Hour and a half? Okay. Brandy Woods. Hello, Brandy Woods. Last I heard, they'd started the scripts for Sandman Season 2, but it hadn't been greenlit yet, and this was also a few days ago. That makes me nervous because we're dealing with fucking Netflix. Netflix just gives me fits. Netflix keeps me up at night. So many good shows cut off when they shouldn't have been. Paulie Lee knows what I'm talking about. Desmond again. They had intended to release Prey and Comanche, but the director changed their mind late in the production. Late in the production? No shit. Wow. That's interesting. How many reshoots were required for that, I wonder? It was the right call. It was totally the right call. Because you want that to be successful. I mean, I as cool as it would have been to have watched that film in Comanche, I'm just so overjoyed that it's getting the popularity that it's as popular as it's become because of that. Because more people, coffee burp, more people found it accessible because it was in English. Most people don't have the stamina for subtitles. It's true. Brandy, I'm totally doing that shit with my beard again, aren't I? God damn it. All right. Sorry. I do have to admit that Patton both being the horse in Happy and Matthew and Sandman is just too much of the same for me. And again, I love the man. I really do. He gave me one of his late wife, through him, gave me one of my favorite phrases that I like to use in trying moments. It's chaos. Be kind. It's chaos. Be kind. Think about that. That's all I'll say about it. But think about it. If you haven't seen Patton's special, and I can't remember which one I'm talking about here, but seriously, life is chaos. For everybody, life is chaos. So choose to be kind. Keep that in mind. Everybody's got their own shit. Everybody's got their own struggles. So if somebody's coming off as antagonistic, ask yourself, what's this person going through that's making them be this way? Because it ain't me. Unless you think you're an asshole, unless you think you've done something that might have instigated it. But if you know you haven't, then it ain't you. Sorry to wax philosophical there, everybody. I'm back. All right. Chris Colvin retracted a message. Where am I at? I defer to your artistry. Maybe the new R2 and 3 are the way to go. Yeah, it's a judgment call, and it depends on what you want to do with it. I mean, I found the Sideshow C3PO to be fantastic for photography, and I did some really cool stuff with it. Fun fact: there's a great moment in the film, in the original film, where C3PO is bouncing up and down over here when he sees the sandcrawler and thinks he's saved. And I recreated that in my studio, and I was looking for a more realistic bit of sand than just sand, the kind of sand that you used to fill a what do you call it, a sandbox. Why did I have a hard time thinking of that? Weird. Because sand, it doesn't downscale well, despite your best intents. I've tried multiple things, and if you are a 6-scale photographer in here, a toy photographer in here, and you've experimented with this, and you have some ideas for this kind of thing, you know what I'm talking about. Let me know in the chats, because I'm still looking for the ideal downscaled sand, 6-scale sand. But what I used for this photo shoot was, I can't even remember what it's called, but it's the stuff that you use to pack down between bricks that you've set into the ground, between landscaping brick and everything like that. And it's very, very, very fine. And it reads so perfectly. So perfectly. And if you go look at this photo that I did of C3PO, it's on my Instagram somewhere, I'm sure, then you'll see what I'm talking about. It legitimately looks like C3PO standing in the middle of the deserts of Tatooine. So I set this thing up, and it was a stage for most of the day. And as I usually do when I get done with a photograph that I'm happy with, I left the setup like for most of the afternoon because I was reluctant to tear it down. And I was in my studio, and I started coughing. And my wife came in, and she started coughing, and she was like, "Something's up in here." And then I did a quick check, and it turns out that the stuff that I was using legitimately will give you cancer if not used in a ventilated environment. So yeah. So watch what you use if you're using stuff like that. I can't remember what it was called, and if it comes to me, then I'll shout it out. First Predator and Prey might be your top two, but what's your third pick? Predators. That's a tough call, because I like a lot of them. Yeah, but I really like Predators. Yeah, it was an interesting take on it. I don't know. I struggle. I struggle with some of the decisions that are made in storytelling in the Predator films. But then I'm a guy that loved Alien versus Predator. I mean, I recognize that it's not great, but there was a lot of fun to be had with it, and I appreciated it for what it was. That great moment when the Queen is looming over what's her name, and you'd think that the gig is up, and the Predator just flies into the screen with that spear way over its head, just doing that. His back is bent superhuman back bending contortionist shit, and just uses his entire body to drive that spear through the alien Queen. Damn, what a moment! Damn, what a moment! I love that. Now I want to break out my Scar Predator figure. Okay. Commander Green. There you go, man. You're an inspiration to figure photographers. John Galgano reports our Sandman is the most watched show in Netflix's history. Oh, well, yeah, you'd be very surprised if it didn't get another season, but man, Netflix is making some weird calls. Weird calls. So, man, I don't know. I hope not. Hope it doesn't get canceled. Anthony with the brain hack. Sculptors turning their work on face sculpts. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think a sculptor actually taught me that. Desmond, judging from the first 15 minutes, the earlier version of the script of Prey had less dialogue. That's interesting. Netflix cut off Archive, says Brad Hall, and broke my heart. The show was awesome. Never seen it. I wasn't even aware of it. I don't know what it is. Single songwriter gives a thumbs up to Choose to Be Kind. Everybody should be giving thumbs up to that. While you're giving thumbs up, if you haven't liked the stream, do me a favor and like it. Mr. Comment from Brandon Woods. Doesn't Netflix take a symbol of how many people watch the seasons all the way through for the first month or so in order to decide? Yeah, that's... I don't understand their algorithm. I don't understand what they're using to make these judgment calls. What was that show that I was watching recently where somebody's... Oh, it was fucking... Oh, Jesus. The show about the serial killer, the hitman that wants to quit to become an actor. With what's his name that played Stefan. Yes. Ellie's Hottest Nightclub. Paver base is exactly what it is, Chris Colvin. Thank you so much. Paver base is what I tried to use, and that shit will give you cancer. So do not use that for sand unless you're actually going to be mixing it with, like, throwing it over the top of glue, which actually takes away from some of that. I mean, it would have to be like a permanent setup. You'd want to do it outside or in a well-ventilated area, so that and like lay down some sort of adhesive and just put that paver base over the top of it so that it solidifies and it can't like dust up into the atmosphere and get into your lungs. You don't want that stuff in your lungs. Kinetic sand, Mr. Imagination. I don't know what that is, but I'm going to write that down right now, assuming I can find a pen, because I'm still kinetic sand. I'm just going to find this random envelope laying around and just be like, what's this kinetic sand? I don't know. Oh, God, so many questions. Let's see, where was I? Oh, God. I loved Archive 81, too, says Desmond Hassing. That's 2 solid recommendations, so I might have to look this up. What are your go-to lenses do you use when photographing figures? That's actually a reasonable question to ask. It depends on the situation. But if I'm photographing for product purposes, like I'm photographing for something that's going to be used to sell a figure, and I just want to illustrate what the figure looks like in the most realistic way possible, then I wax between an 85 and a 105. Yeah, someone actually was asking me recently gear questions, And this is a completely separate conversation. I mean, that's a reasonable question to ask, just curiosity. Lens questions, I think, are more valuable than what camera do you use, for instance. I'm using, for photography, for my videos, not this one, but for my videos that I shoot in my studio, I'm using a Nikon D6 with a Nikon Z6 with a Nikon Z50 for the overhead stuff. And that's perfectly fine because I want 4K. And the stills that you get out of these cameras are great as well, but for my still photography, I still use my D750 from years ago. It's an antique by now. So yeah, legitimately all the photography that I do if the most recent photos that what comes to mind would be the shot I did of Ray and Dio, done on an outdated camera. So if you come to somebody, I'm just going to put this out there. If you're looking to be a photographer of anything, and you look at somebody's work and you say, I want to do what that guy's doing, and you come to them and say, if you come to me and say, what camera are you using, my response is going to be, you're asking the wrong questions, because it has very little to do with that. You give me an iPhone, and who's that guy there was that movie called Unsane, shot completely on an iPhone 10, outdated iPhone. Beautiful film. The camera's got very little to do with it. It's all the other experience. It's the lighting, more than anything. It's the lighting. It's your ability to compose the shot. It's everything. You need to understand stuff that will just take you a long time to master. Some people longer than others. Obviously, I'm very passionate about that. So, hope I didn't ruffle any feathers. Let's see, where did I go? As usual, when I start waxing about something, I lose track of the course of the conversation. The 3PO image does exist where you can see it. Let me see if I can call that up. Can you add a photo to the comments? I don't think you can. Let's just do my Instagram. Oh boy, let's see if this works. I haven't logged into Instagram from my computer in a long time, so I don't know if I've changed my password. Yeah, sure, save that. That's fine. I haven't been doing a lot on Instagram lately at all. It's let's see, where is it at? Going back. Wow, it must have been a long time ago because I've done a lot since then. There it is. And let's see if I can copy a link. Yes, copy link. And going back here. Which one is the chat? That's not it. I've lost you all. There it is. There you are. All right, here's the link. Hopefully that works to the aforementioned C3PO figure. Photograph that I did. The over here. What are your go-to lenses to use when photographing figures 100 macro? That's okay. That's where I was. Yeah, and by the way, the 105 that I use is a macro. I've got a 105 for the standard DX, and I also have a 105 for the Z series, which I actually will probably sell because I've had it for 5 months now, and I have shot exactly no photographs with it. I loaned it to a friend for a month. I don't even know why I dropped $1,000 on the thing. It's because I guess I thought I might actually use the Z6 for figure photography at some point. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll keep it. It's legitimately one of the most coveted lenses for Nikon Z line, and it's undeniably great. I just don't know that I need it. Single songwriter, Salisbury Beach, Massachusetts has some great sand. Really? That's interesting. All right. That's interesting. No matter what sand you use, you're going to get dust in the air and it's going to make you cough, but at least it's not toxic. Wow, I'm still so far behind. I might have to skip a bunch of questions, guys, and I apologize. Anthony, did you find a way to make work feel like play again? Enjoying these streams? Yes, sir, I did, and that's by doing these streams. Yeah. I've been able to re-engage, because a lot of my friends here aren't fans of pop culture. Scott Heinemeier is the exception to that rule. But most of my friends just don't want to talk about this shit. My wife certainly didn't. And so it was very, very difficult for me to... I need to engage with other people with things that I love. And I wasn't really... I'm not able to do that much with the work stuff. And that's cool. But here I can. Within certain parameters. Again, NDA, non-disclosure agreements, are very, very real. And I am concerned that I might fuck up and say something that I shouldn't. So yeah, that's why we don't talk about work. Barry, Gina, why are you exclaiming about my 1 month younger than me brother Barry? Dude, that Barry Venom. Again, we're not talking about work, but still, that was hilarious. Terry, do you ever use museum gel with 1/6 scale figures? You mean like museum putty? I use museum putty a lot. I use it with like little tiny figures. Like I've got some on the bottoms of my little Tron feet right here. That is my original Tron 3.75 inch figure. Actually, that's actually Kevin Flynn with little museum putty on the bottom of his feet so he doesn't fall off my little amplifier over here. Sound booster thing. I can never remember what that thing's called. I'm so not an audio guy, and yet I am. Keith Lee had a D750. It is a great camera. That body really changed the game several years ago, and it did, definitely. But I ultimately stuck with Canon and ditched all my Nikon gear. Nobody's perfect. I like the added side light. You know what that added side light is? It's my open door. It's legitimately the sunlight streaming through my open door in my living room as I try to keep it manageable in here. Marlon Brazo, like the Ahsoka Hot Toys figure. Dude, I love the Ahsoka Hot Toys figure. Are you seeing it in the background? Is that why you brought it up? Desmond, the best thing to do in any photography is to get as good as you can at exposure rather than focus on having the most up-to-date equipment. Old can often be better. I still use my film-based SLR. That's fantastic, man. Mine are all in a single... all my SLRs, my film SLRs, are still in a big camera bag in my closet. Haven't used them in years. But I keep thinking I will. I'm lying to myself. I know that I am. That brings up an interesting point, too, though. As strongly as I believe that asking about camera bodies is asking the wrong question, one thing that you can say about getting new tech is that it might inspire you to get out and photograph more. So in that regards, yeah, there's value in going out and buying a new camera in the hopes that it will help you better your photography. I think that's where it is. I think that's where it is. But to say that, to think that the reason you're not photographing as well as you should is because of a camera is a mistake. I've legitimately, the most recent time that somebody asked me that question, and they told me what camera they were using, I immediately reflected on Michael Berube, who's another great six-scale figure photographer, or toy photographer in general. Uses the same freaking camera. And I consider the guy to be better than I am by a sight. He's really, really good. When I first became aware of him, he had promise, and now he's just amazing, consistently amazing. Oh, thank you. I'm sorry, Gina. Gina B. Collecting reminds me that Barry is the show about the assassin I was asking about. That's how far behind my comments are. Maybe I should go on this ultra low latency so that there's more of a rapid turnaround. Thank you so much, Single Star Red. You're very welcome, Commander Green. Again, I love the engagement that's going on in the chats. You all are like talking to each other, and that's really what I was hoping for. Single Star Rider has a Nikon P1000 new in the box. It is huge and more like a telescope than is a camera. That's 3,000 millimeter zoom 4K Ultra HD video. What the hell? I've never heard of this. Yeah, it's a very intimidating camera. I can imagine. Keith Lee, that's why she's going to be your ex-wife. Yeah, it's sad. She's funny. I liked her. She was cool. It's just she could be cool. Barry's a rock star in his own right. That's very, very true. Vintage 3.75 Tron action figure. I had another one too, and I can't remember what it was. Oh, Brad Hall had all the Tron figures. You lucky son of a bitch. Awesome, man. This Stuff Museum gel is clear gel, supposedly better than putty. All right. Where's that envelope? Just taking notes on my live stream on the back of an envelope. My neck's doing that thing where it weakens my hand today. Oh, it's kind of expensive? Oh, fuck that. No. Desmond has it right there with you, Terry. I keep telling myself that I'm going to build a darkroom. We both know I won't do that. Nah. That'll never happen. That may be something for like retirement years. Commander Green has been shooting with the Canon Rebel T6, but I'm thinking about getting a Canon M50. The aforementioned Canon M50 is the camera used by the aforementioned Michael Berube. Yeah, strong 6. Strong's now to be fair, when I first started shooting professionally, the camera I was given to work with was a Rebel T6. Was a Rebel. I don't know if it was a T6. I can't remember which version it was. I was probably older than the T6 now that I think about it. So even then, back in, that would have been 2014, I think, when I was using that, that was still a contender for professional level photography. So yeah, do your deep dive and just ask yourself, what will I be able to achieve with the M50 that I can't achieve with the camera that I have now? And don't let it distract you from learning about light and how light works. I don't see that being a problem for you because I can tell by your photographs that you are actually experimenting with light more than anything else, and that's really what it's all about. That's the only really good way to become good. That and composition. But you're on the right track. I don't need to coach you on anything. What I'm saying now is more to do with anybody else who might be listening. Gabe is here. What's up, Gabe? Are you unboxing anything or we're just chilling? Dude, I have nothing to unbox. The closest thing I came to an unboxing was this sweet Iron Maiden igloo cooler. Because I'm on something of a little bit of a hiatus right now with buying things because I have a $4,000 air conditioning unit to pay for. So until that's paid off, I can't really afford to do anything else. So sorry to disappoint. Also, I was thinking that I may kind of walk back the unboxings here because I have noticed that it really doesn't do anything justice. It almost feels, I don't know, masturbatory, the unboxing here, because it's not doing you guys any good. Like last week I unboxed that Iron Patriot figure, and there are dozens of other dudes out there who unboxed that figure who did a better job of it than I do on these live streams. So if you can think of a reason why watching me unbox a figure on this channel with this limited light setup and camera setup would benefit people over what other people are doing, I'm willing to continue doing it. But frankly, one thing that I did notice was that when I started unboxing that Iron Patriot figure last week, viewership dropped. People were just not interested in saying it. People seem to be more interested in just hanging out and chatting, and I'm down for that. Mr. Imagination also uses a Rebel T7. That's cool. Real talk, where would you like to see this channel page in 3 to 5 years? No fucking idea. And here's why. I have ADHD. And as anybody with ADHD will tell you, I have zero concept of time. For me, it's either there's now and not now. So it's like thinking about planning for the future is just not something that I do really well, because I just have no concept of it. The reason, and this question, a similar question to this, is what led me into counseling, which is what led me into therapy, which is what led me into that ADHD diagnosis. My wife actually asked me, where do you see us in 10 years? And I couldn't answer her. Together? That's where we were right now, because that's the only thing I had the concept of, is now. Stuff that I'm dealing with right now. So yeah, that's the thing that exists. I don't know. I don't have any ideas for this channel. As you can tell, I don't even monetize these live streams. I'm just doing it for kicks, and I think really that's the only reason any endeavor that I made towards making this channel a viable financial thing was half-assed at best. And but it has been interesting and fun to do the videos. I get a lot of value out of the production of the videos, and learning the tech involved. It just keeps my brain going, and again, it just keeps me happy. So really, that's my whole purpose behind it right at this point. All right, I got a few more questions here, then I got to wrap this up. It's been 2 hours, and if anybody's been here for the entire time, raise your hand because you're a freaking trooper. Oh, Brad Hall's wife is a pro photographer. That's cool. Shoot me that Instagram if she's got one. Commander Green's been doing that photography live stream with Moz, and he's been helping push with my photography. That's cool. I don't know who Moz is. Again, like I mentioned earlier before you came on, I don't follow any other channels except for Paul Lee's. Gabe, honestly, Terry, I didn't care about unboxing. I generally like hanging with. Oh, that's cool. All right. Tommy D is leaving. I don't blame you, dude. You've been here the whole time. That's got to be exhausting. Hugo Ramirez, where are you at on the grails you're still missing to get? Again, I don't want to say I'm in dire financial straits, but I've got a lot of improvements that I've got to make on the house. So the grail hunt has had to be pushed onto the back burner. I do, however, wonder about the Psylocke figure, because Sideshow announced that other Sideshow, that Psylocke premium format figure. So I'm thinking that might be another avenue, in which case I would need to come up with another grail that I need to acquire before I quit. Or do I? Does shifting the character from one grail piece to another mean that I have to, walk away from or change my grail list? I don't know. I'll have to think about that. Brandy Woods is still here. You're a freaking trooper. Oh, okay. That makes sense. Yeah, TK421 says that he put some shelves in while listening, so that makes sense. I mean, you don't have to look at me all the time. Just listen to me jabber. Yeah, sorry, Keith. I just plan on it happening at 9 a.m. every Saturday, or our time, Central Time, until I say that it's not going to happen anymore. And that could happen. I could lose interest. Desmond is still here. John Galgano is still here. Wow, you guys. What do you do to pass the time while I'm yakking? Inquiring minds want to know. Or do we? Maybe not. Might regret asking that question. Christopher Colvin says it's a really cool hangout on Saturday mornings. I'm glad you agree, man. I'm having fun with it. Casher Gemini is here. Good chill stream, Terry. Thanks, dude. How long have you been here? Is this your first comment? Good to see you. Anthony with Figure Posing Channel. I haven't been here for 2 hours, but thank you for the stream. As you probably know, an ADHD brain struggles with non-rewarding chores. That's right. That is such my jam. For those who don't know, I struggled with the diagnosis of ADHD because I had preconceived notions of what ADHD was, and I think that most people do. In fact, I had to learn almost immediately that I need to be careful who I reveal that diagnosis to, which raises the question, why did you just say it on a fucking live stream, Terry? I don't know. I also have poor impulse control. But there is legitimately a disconnect between this part of your brain and this part of your brain. And one of the consequences of that is that we have issues with the release of dopamine. Our brains don't produce dopamine in the way that other people's brains produce dopamine. And so we struggle to find things that will cause that dopamine release. That's why so many ADHD people are prone to things like addiction. And that's addiction in all things, like anything that you find, whether it's alcohol or collectibles, that could be traced back to your ADHD, just looking for that reward again and again and again, just trying to prompt that dopamine release. Apparently, I tell everyone and I encourage you all. ADHD actually is legitimately the most well-studied developmental disorder on the planet. So the amount that we know now, as opposed to when I first learned of ADHD back in the late 80s, early 90s or something like that, when I was hearing my mom and her other teacher friends yak about it, it's an order of magnitude at the very least greater than what it was when I first found out about it. It's kind of like MS that way. What they know about MS these days is way more than what they knew about it when my dad was diagnosed. So just by way of comparison, when my dad was diagnosed in the late 70s, the doctor's prescription was for him to drink more caffeinated soda because it seems to help some people. Well, yeah, it does. It's a fucking stimulant. Anyway. Oh, once again, I forgot to do music. I've got a fucking playlist. I swear to God, I have like a playlist of just like super chill music to listen to while we're doing these live streams. And here it is, basically at the end. So I'm not going to start it up now. That would be ridiculous. But yeah, somebody remind me next week to start to cue the music, for God's sake. At least it would make it a little bit more endurable. Big Bear Jace is, I hope I'm saying that right, has been here for the long haul. And you didn't chime in until really late in the stream too, I think. Brad Hall says, good night. Take it easy, dude. It's got to be like, what, 1 in the morning there? 2 in the morning there? Something like that? Yeah, gross. Go to bed. I have done some portrait photography, Keith Lee. There is some good money to be made. I think I need to maybe get back into that. I've been out of the game for a long, long time, and there's some really good portrait photographers here in St. Louis. So the market is pretty saturated. I know several of them personally. Who are way better than I would be at this point. It would take some practice for me to actually be able to compete. Laura Keeley, I haven't been here for the whole stream, but enjoyed what I've seen. Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad you have. That's really why I do it. And for my own nefarious, selfish ends. Hugo. Terry, for collectors with the same interest, this is a perfect forum to be a geek. So thanks for that. Not a waste of time. Cool. Keep coming back, bro. I'll be here. I need to start my Launchpad McQuack drawing soon. Yes, you do. I was going to say that I have no idea who that is, but now I just remembered. So, Terry, how do you balance ADD with meeting deadlines? Okay. It's very, very hard. It's very, very, very hard. In fact, back when I was originally doing freelancing, and I didn't find this out till later, I lost a freelance gig very early in the career, and it was a company that I was working with. And I was working with 2 different departments within that company. I started out just working with one person, and then somebody else approached me and said, hey, I could use your help with this too. It was mostly writing at that point. So it was a freelance writing gig. Can you guys hear that weed eater? Let me know. And what wound up happening was the person that I worked with first recognized that it was taking me longer to get projects done. And when she asked me what the problem was, I said, well, yeah, sorry, but I'm also doing projects with this person, for this person that's been kind of distracting me. And then the second person came to me and said, hey, why is this taking so long? And I said, well, because I'm working on stuff for this person. Now, I wasn't lying to either one of them, but because of the way that my brain works and the way that my process, I would lose interest in a particular project, so I'd leave that one and go work on another one instead. So I was bouncing back and forth between 2 projects. So the answer I gave to each of them was honest. But because of my delivery and because of my lack of understanding of how my brain was working, i.e. I didn't know that I had ADHD. ADHD? That's a new disorder. I didn't know exactly how to structure my explanation. So I was taking longer to do things because I was doing twice as much and bouncing back and forth between the 2 projects instead of just focusing on one. So it has affected me adversely in the past, but I'm better about it now, or at least I think I am. Maybe I'm not. I don't know. I'm not medicated. I am not medicated. The shit I need is too expensive. Hundreds of dollars a month. So I just try to maintain awareness of the way that my brain works, and just make myself hit pause when I exhibit a particular behavior, and I just say to myself, that's your brain, that's your ADHD. You got to shift. Okay. It's a trick that I learned while drinking and doing drugs in the 90s. And it's mostly successful. I'm still employed, so I guess I'm doing something right. Okay, cool. We're about ready to wrap up the stream anyway. So is your Grail list still active? Again, yeah, Don, it is still active, but it's being put on hiatus because expenses have compounded. My dog got sick. I gestured at her, but she's not here. She's at the guest house. My dog got sick. That was really expensive. She's kind of coming around now. I think that's okay. But then my air conditioner crapped out, which is why I'm looking all shiny today. And also, as it turns out, I think I'm going to have to buy a new computer because this one's showing signs of quitting on me. And my TV is showing signs of quitting on me. And I also need new gutters. So I don't know. I might just have to put that project on hold for a little while. We'll see. Anyway, it's been 2 hours, everybody. And and you can probably just tell by my voice that I'm getting kind of tired. But again, I've had a lot of fun. Wow. Yeah, viewership is still there, so I guess people do find this enjoyable. I'm getting value out of it, obviously. Glad I did it. I wasn't going to do it today because I legitimately was tired. I didn't sleep at all last night, it feels like. And that's why I did coffee instead of tea today. And again, just going to bring up this wonderful mug from 3 Circle Pottery. Now, I'm not getting paid by Judo Master to pimp his pottery business. I just really love his work. I just think it's great. This is the second mug that I've gotten from him, and I think I'm going to go in for a third. Get the hat trick, the 3 Circle Party hat trick. 3 Circle Pottery, not 3 Circle Party. That's like a 3-ring circus. So now I'm out of coffee. That means the stream's probably done. So yeah, tune in next week. I don't know what I'll have to offer because again, my buying is on a hiatus. I'm not scheduled to buy another figure now, even in the best of times, until for another 2 weeks at least. Yeah, 2 weeks. Yeah, the last Monday of every month is when I've queued myself to actually buy a figure. Anyway, next time I see you, my house will be pleasantly chilled with a much quieter air conditioner that's ridiculously efficient. And I will be sweating less. I will not be letting any... I've got bats. I found guano outside my bedroom window, and there's a place where like bats are hanging out. That's cool. I'm gonna build a bat house. And with that, I leave you. Thanks everybody for tuning in. It's always been a genuine pleasure talking geek stuff because I don't get to talk geek stuff with anybody on a regular basis these days. So I appreciate you for chiming in and letting me do that. And I also want to move forward with actually trying to get some guest appearances on here. So maybe having somebody join me and we can actually have a discussion where people actually get to see 2 people interact. And I'm also going to figure out how to throw your comments up on the screen because I think that's always fun. But anyway, without further ado, have a good week, everybody. And don't forget to be good to your plastic.